I want to introduce you to a powerful concept that has the potential to bring great joy into your life. But before I do, I want to talk to you about an idea that has the potential to do exactly the opposite, to really suck the life out of your journey. And that idea is guilt. Most psychologists agree that guilt is one of the primary causes of neuroses. We literally make ourselves sick because of our guilt. Guilt for the things we've done and guilt for the things that we haven't done. Regardless of its source, guilt and the unhealthy behaviors that it produces create all sorts of things in us. It takes a terrible toll on our relationships and even our physical health. Now, when I'm talking about guilt, I'm not talking about taking responsibility for your actions. That's what adults do, of course. They take responsibilities for their behavior and their actions, and they seek to make amends when they've offended others, and they're open to changing their behavior when necessary. But with guilt, we've moved on past the idea of responsibility into a sort of a prolonged remorse. We even begin to use guilt as an attempt to solve the transgression, to fix the transgression. Of course, this never works. It never works. Guilt in and of itself is not a cure or a remedy for anything. Not only do we suffer from guilt, but at times we try to place blame on others in a way that consciously or unconsciously we hope will create guilt in others. In this case, we're using guilt like a weapon. We're using it as a club to strike out at someone for an offense. Of course, this is very destructive for our relationship and not good for them as well. So what is the remedy to this debilitating condition of guilt? I believe the answer is found in a term, in an idea, and that is grace. Now, the word grace can mean lots of different things. It can mean beauty, for example. It can mean that period of time between the time you get your credit card statement and when they start charging you interest, or it can be a sort of temporary immunity. But the way I'm using grace is the way theologians typically use it. Christian theologians talk about grace in a way that is really helpful for restoring mental health. This kind of grace is based on Jesus' teaching that God is willing to forgive us even though we have not earned this forgiveness. It's an unmerited love and favor. Now, the key word here is unmerited. It's a gift. If we're willing to accept this kind of gift, and if we're willing to bestow this kind of gift on others, we can free ourselves of the terrible burden of guilt. If we're willing to accept this kind of grace, forgive ourselves, and if we're willing to forgive others, especially when they don't deserve it, we have the ability to bring a lot of joy into our life, to become more of the person we were designed to be. I truly believe that exercising grace is an important part of any joyful journey. Something to think about.